asked 100 FPL experts for their Game Week 9 transfer moves, captains, and chip strategies, so you guys can follow along with the expert trends every single game week. Welcome back to FPL Mate, my name is Dan, and welcome back to another episode of the 100 Expert series. The series that I have to say helps me and many others a lot with their decisions every week as we take a deep dive to see what the top managers are doing. And by the way, guys, we will have a look at the average expert rank later on in the video. Things are getting better and better with each game week, it really is. So the experts are very much on the rise now. Things are returning to normality finally, but we'll go over that shortly. First of all, a big shout out to all of the 100 top FPL managers who helped us out by volunteering their data for this game week. We're going to see exactly what they are up to. So first of all, let's have a look at the transfers and chips and see what's going on here. So we see 29% of experts this game week are making one transfer, with 15% making two transfers. So actually, a fair amount of the top managers are making multiple transfers, with even 6% making three or more. One of our experts is making 4 transfers this week. So yeah, some people going for it, really going for it. We see 2 of our experts going for the wild card this game week, and 48% making no transfers at all. And I know that seems like a lot, but actually we've got some really good transfer data this week, considering there are so many experts rolling transfers. We're seeing some real changes, real shifts in the template. We're seeing some really strong trends that you guys are going to want to jump on nice and early to try and get ahead of the pack here. As for those chips, we see 5% of our experts using a bench boost this week. So if your bench is looking particularly tasty this week, and it might well do with the likes of Dubravka playing against Wolves, you maybe have another good fixture or 2 on your bench. If so, then it could be bench boost time for you. We see just one of our experts using the triple captain chip, for some reason on Semenyo. Don't ask me why. I am just here to deliver the data and nothing more. Nobody's on a free hit this week, but we do see 2% of our experts on a wild card as well. So not really a super strong week for a chip this game week in Game Week 9, but 5% on a bench boost does suggest that if you do still have that chip, it might be worth having a little look to see if it might work for you as well. Let's check out the transfer trends on a global basis. What are the overall player base doing with their transfers this week? And is there any correlation with the experts? Well, we see Voltamara as the #1 transfer ahead of Game Week 9. Almost 500,000, 500,000 transfers in for him already. Followed by Mateta. Still some people bringing in Haaland. Still some people don't have Haaland. We see Gabriel here, Saka, Caicedo, Rice, James, Semenyo, and Gakpo. But what's the correlation here? Do our experts like any of these picks, or is there maybe some different trends going on? Well, certainly Voltamara and Saka. These are 2 players that our experts are bringing in en masse this game week, with some interest, some new interest in Gabriel, should I say, as he's already a very highly owned player among the top managers, and a little bit of interest in Caicedo as well. A couple of transfers in for him among experts this week. Outside of that, there is no interest, or certainly no new transfers in Mateta, Haaland, Rice, James, Semenyo, and Gakpo. Now, in the case of Haaland and Semenyo, that's because 96, 97, 98% of experts already have these players. But Mateta, he's the player that is not owned by too many experts right now. Same with Rice, James, and Gakpo. So that does suggest that these players, despite the hype in the overall player base, maybe this isn't the week to buy these players. Mateta with his tough fixture against Arsenal. We've got, I guess James is, if you're an experienced FPL manager, you've probably been burnt by James before, maybe some doubt there. Rice, probably not one of the best Arsenal players to go for right now. And Gakpo, I don't mind Gakpo, to be fair. I don't really see a reason to not buy him, but I think it's more of a case that there are other options. And certainly what we are going to see when we come to the transfers in section of the video is that the most popular transfer in is a midfielder, and it's a player who's actually one of the most transferred out players among the overall player base. So this week, we are seeing, once again, a big difference between what the overall player base are doing and what the experts are doing, which always means a chance to get ahead of the game, to get green arrows, to capitalize on the knowledge of the experts, to take advantage of that ahead of the overall player base, who maybe are missing a few things ahead of Game Week 9. So let's check out these transfers out, guys. And Baby Reinders is the player being transferred out the most. 11 transfers out for him, although it should be said he was owned by 71% of experts last game week. So that does suggest that the vast majority of Reinders owners will be keeping him, despite the fact he is the most transferred out player as well. We see Victor Gyökeres also second most transferred out player this week for experts, 9 transfers out for him. That is going to take him down to 39% owned. So we are really seeing a trend away from Gyökeres, and indeed a trend away from Reinders over the last couple of game weeks. These players are dropping in ownership. They are becoming less and less popular with each game week that goes by among experts. Those Foden owners are losing faith in him. 5 transfers out for him. He was only owned by 7 managers last week. A few transfers out for Stack, Mr. 2-pointer. If you're not going to be able to bench him, then it might be worth upgrading him. All of Xavi's owners are relieving him of his FPL duties, I guess. Pedro Porro, decent amount of transfers out for him as well as Kudus if we're looking at those Spurs players. Salah continues to trend downwards. Around a quarter of his owners will be dumping him this game week. Anderson with a minor injury. There is a few people losing him. Same with Joao Pedro. But again, the majority of Anderson and Joao Pedro owners among experts will be keeping these players. So from that, we can maybe have a look and see what kind of players you could think about removing. And by the way, guys, if you do enjoy the 100 Experts videos, make sure you do drop a like. Massively helps out the channel. We do put a lot of work into gathering and, organizing this data, inputting this data, all of that good stuff for you guys. So do show the support on the channel and feel free to subscribe if you want to follow along with the expert trends every single game week. Let's check out the transfers in, and I promised you a guy who is being transferred out by the overall player base is the most popular transfer in for the experts, and that is Enzo Fernandez. 6.7 million midfielder for Chelsea, 19 transfers in. He was owned by 15% of our experts last game week, but his ownership will more than double as he becomes one of the trendiest players in the world of FPL experts. Now, of course, he does have that yellow Dorito of death next to his name, which is putting off a lot of the overall player base who maybe don't do their research, but the experts do their research, and that's why they will know that Enzo has indeed trained this week. I am recording this video before Chelsea play in the Champions League, but I would not be surprised to see Enzo in that squad, whilst they might protect him to start at the weekend. So Enzo, really popular move among experts, and he's probably going to be your #1 target if you don't have him already. Maybe try and find a way to get him. Saka is really interesting. 15 new transfers in for him, so there seems to be a strong trend towards Saka at the moment as well, away from Gyökeres and towards Saka. So yeah, if you're looking for an expensive midfielder, maybe you've got an Arsenal slot, maybe you want to make multiple Arsenal transfers to get Saka in your team, don't worry, we've got that covered in the bonus question. So how you get Saka is up for debate, but we will cover this one. Don't you worry. Voltemada is also a popular player. He's one of those players who is popular in the overall player base, popular among experts. Everyone agrees that Voltemada is a very nice pick right now. 10 new transfers in for him. He is going to be owned by over a quarter of experts come the Game Week 9 deadline. A few more transfers in for the likes of Gabriel and Timber, boosting those Arsenal defensive numbers. And we see a new entry here, really, in Keane at Everton. Branthwaite has been announced as gonna have to have injury. He's gonna have to have surgery on his injury, so Branthwaite is gonna be out for a little while longer. So Keane is probably good for the next couple of months now in FPL. For 4.5 million, he's kind of basically a cheap Tarkowski. So if you're looking for 4.5 million defenders right now, he is probably the guy to go for if you're looking to go ultra cheap. Krupi Jr. and we'll throw Obi in here in this conversation as well. If you're looking to downgrade a forward slot because maybe you've played your bench boost. You don't need to worry about that final slot on your bench anymore. You're just looking for a player to bench every week. Then Krupi Jr. or Obi could provide some value there. And Caicedo and Botman are also on this list as well as potential differentials you could pick up ahead of the deadline. Let's check out the template. But first of all, the average Game Week 8 score for experts was 73.8 points. Let me know, did you beat the experts or not in Game Week 8? I know a few of you guys got some big scores last week, so maybe. The average current rank for the experts has gone from, I think, 1.3 million last week to 991k this week. So pretty much a 400,000 place boost, a really big boost for the expert ranks this week. Like I say, we're seeing green arrows from the experts every single week at the moment. So this is going to run and run. We now see 52% of the experts in the top 1 million. 8% of my experts are in the top 100k. And the experts we use for these videos, by the way, guys, I checked this out. Their average rank right now is better than the average rank of content creators. So my experts are vetted, they are verified, and they are even better at FPL so far this season than the average FPL content creator. So how about that? Not too bad. They're not quite beating my rank yet, but well, we'll see what happens in the future game weeks. It changes in the template. So really, we're seeing more Arsenal defenders. Gabriel is in here. Timber has come in here as well. I know there's now technically 4 Arsenal players on this, but remember, guys, this template, if you like, isn't a real team. This is simply a reflection of the most owned players in each position among the 100 experts that we use for these videos. So that is why you're going to see 4 Arsenal players in here. That doesn't mean you need to get a 4th Arsenal player in your team. We know that's not possible, but it just shows that, particularly when we see a lot of interest in one team and maybe some positions where there's a lot more debate. So our 5th most popular defender, by the way, guys, is just 26% owned. So there's real debate for those really 3rd, 4th, and 5th defender spots right now. And that's why we're seeing a 4th Arsenal player in here. That's not to say that you need to do that. This is not a real FPL team. Just wanted to put that one out there. We're seeing a real drop for Reinders. But what I think is super interesting, actually, is that we're projecting Saka to go to 54% owned and Gyökeres to go down to 39% owned. So we're going to see for the first time, Saka is going to be more popular among the top managers. Going to be in more of the top managers' squads than Gyökeres is. So maybe FPL managers being proactive here, I'm not sure, but we're seeing a real shift here. Gyökeres is really trending downwards. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him out of the template by next week, and Saka is just going up and up and up. But again, guys, with Enzo and his popularity, I think we're also going to see him rise in popularity and possibly enter into the template from next week. So things are changing, things are shifting. So make sure you do follow along with these videos every week, guys, because the template is changing fast, and it's very important that we keep an eye on it, where it's going, where it's headed, so we don't get left behind here. Because, yeah, like I say, things are beginning to shift. You're not going to be able to keep up with everything right now, but you can certainly do your best. Right, guys, let's make some suggested transfers. So first of all, if you've got a midfielder you're not happy about, maybe it's Reinders, maybe it's Foden, maybe it's someone else, Xavi Simons perhaps, Enzo Fernandez is that natural replacement on a single transfer. But if you do want to make a double transfer, you want to get the likes of Reinders or Stack or whoever else to Saka, the way to do that is to downgrade Gyökeres down to Krupi Jr. if you need someone for Game Week 9, or Obi if Chido Obi at Man United if you don't need a player for this week and you're just happy to bench them literally every week. But Krupi Jr. probably good to start in Game Week 9. After that, maybe not so much. Gyökeres straight to Voltemada could also be pretty interesting as a move if you have more faith in the German striker. And if you're looking for a defender to transfer, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, whatever defender you have right now you're not happy with, Gabriel is your best replacement if you have him already. Jurriën Timber. If you need someone else, then maybe Botman or Keane if you want to go outside of Arsenal. But plenty of options there for you guys. We've got loads of data and it's provided plenty of options, but we still haven't spoken about captains. Well, surprise, surprise. Is there any point in even doing this section of the video? It's the same man on top every single game week. But hey, guys, at least Haaland is down to 95% captained this week rather than 98%. So we're seeing a small change at least, I suppose. So yeah, Haaland 95% captain among experts this week against Aston Villa away from home. So we don't need to read into that too much. You guys know by this point, Haaland is your safe, sensible captain pretty much every single week at the moment. I don't need to explain why. We've got Semenyo here in second place, though, which is, I guess, a little interesting. Nottingham Forest at home. Semenyo has been in great form and perhaps has a similar, maybe even higher ceiling than Haaland. So if you do want to take a risk, 5 of our experts are going to be using the single captain on Semenyo. By the way, I said Haaland 95%. That was his captain rate among owners, by the way. His in terms of actual numbers of captains, it's 92. So 92 of our experts are going to be captaining Haaland, but 95% of our experts who own Haaland will be captaining him. Just wanted to clarify that because it is important, because it kind of reflects the Semenyo captain numbers here. That actually a lot of the Semenyo captains are Haaland owners, which is pretty interesting. So yes, if you have Semenyo, you want to go against the crowd. 5% is not terrible company, but it is still really, really risky to go against Haaland right now. A couple of captains for Salah as well against Brentford. 3 captains, that's 25% of his ownership, will be captaining him going into the new game week. So, yeah, Salah hasn't completely fallen out of favour among experts yet, but we are seeing low numbers every week for him at this point. So if you're going sensible, guys, it is Haaland. If you think Semenyo could do well, even against a Sean Dyche Nottingham Forest, then maybe you could go there. Salah is always here for those of you guys who don't have Haaland, but at this point, what are you waiting for? And we can finally move on now to our bonus questions, and the theme is Arsenal. Don't usually do themed bonus questions, but I think because so many people right now are either looking to buy Arsenal players, so getting their third Arsenal player, second Arsenal player, maybe if they're a little bit behind the trends, or they're looking to switch around which Arsenal players they actually have in their squad. So I asked 2 Arsenal related questions because they are such a trendy team at the moment. So the first question I asked our experts in the 100 expert private Discord server, the first poll was, would you do a double swap to move Gyökeres to Saka? We saw none of our experts saying that they would do it for a hit. So no one would do it for a -4. We saw 33%, so a third of experts would do this double move for free transfers. So if you have free transfers, you might think about doing this if you have multiple free transfers available. 53%, so this is the majority really, say that they would only do this move if they were on a wild card. So they're kind of suggesting really that they do prefer Saka to Gyökeres, but don't really think it's necessarily worth using transfers or making it happen. And finally, we see 13% saying they wouldn't make the move at all. There's no circumstance in which they'd want to swap Gyökeres to Saka. So the vast majority of experts agree that Saka is better than Gyökeres. However, how many believe you should kind of act upon that without using a wild card by using those free transfers is maybe a little bit more up for debate there, guys. So I'll leave that with you guys, but it's important that you guys have this information available. So it's not a priority move to move Gyökeres to Saka. It's probably what we can kind of gather from this one, to be honest. And then I asked, what is the best Arsenal triple up structure? And this was an absolute no-brainer, really. So 88% of our experts said two defensive players and 1 attacking player. So 2 times defender / goalkeeper, 1 times midfield / forward. And that is going to be the best structure. So a defense first strategy when it comes to Arsenal players. However, we did see 13% on the inverse of that. So 1 defensive player, 2 attacking players. Not as much, to be fair, but again, it's going to be the vast majority of experts believe that double Arsenal defense is critical in FPL, and really going for 1 attacking player from Arsenal is good enough. I'd say particularly against Crystal Palace, which is a team that, you know, you're probably not going to score 4 goals against. But you say that, Arsenal did score 4 goals against Atletico Madrid last night, speaking of Gyökeres. So, yeah, there you go, guys. Those are the opinions, these bonus questions. Hopefully gives you guys a better idea on how to approach Arsenal going into this game week and maybe next game week as well. I think this information is going to be relevant for a couple of game weeks to come. So there you go. Of course, if you do want to join the 100 Experts, a Discord server, and ask the experts questions of your very own, then you can do if you are an FPL expert, of course. So let me know, guys. Send me privately, probably on Twitter, maybe on Instagram, or maybe even email me or message me your team ID, and I can check that out. We are looking for people with an absolute minimum of 3 top 100,000 finishes. Even that is probably not going to be enough to get you in the 100 Experts community, to be honest, because I've got to be really strict with, real top managers only. And of course, if you do want to join in and maybe you're not an expert, you're looking to learn, you're looking to grow as an FPL manager, you can become a member of the channel at the starting 11 tier or above. Once joining that tier on the channel, clicking the join button to do so, you will gain access to the private chat and chat with all of the experts, as well as getting the many other perks and things available to members, including the team rating, the team reviewing that we're going to be doing in tomorrow night's private stream. So looking forward to that one as well, guys. But that's going to be it for today, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you do drop a like. Really helps out the channel. Just subscribe if you're new around here. We'll be back tomorrow for my team selection video, where I'm making a lot of transfers. So stay tuned to that. And yeah, I will see you later, mates. Oh, and buy, sell, keep, avoid that. See ya. Bye-bye.